us as well as this aircraft has served us in the last 52 years. So it's only fitting that we're here today. I'd like to now introduce our guest speaker. See you before, Larry Castagneto. Larry, where are you? Okay. Larry flew a UH-1 to Vietnam in 1970 and 71 while serving with the 162nd Assault Helicopter Company of the 13th Combat Aviation Battalion. Larry is the, I'm not going to say you're the oldest. You tell me that all the time. You're the classic aviator is what we call it, still serving as an active duty warrant officer who's flown this aircraft. And it's only fitting that we allow him to give the farewell remarks. So please welcome Larry.
It's going to be a hard day. Thank you, sir. And as a Vietnam veteran Army aviator, I would like to thank everyone for coming to this special occasion. To be honest, on a very sad day. The end of an era that has spanned over 50 years. The retirement of this grand old lady, our mother, the Huey. I would like to thank Major General Crutchfield for allowing me to speak at this event and try to convey in my own inadequate, meager way what this aircraft means to me and so many Vietnam veterans. First, a few facts. It was 48 years ago to this month in 1963 that the first Hueys arrived in Vietnam to units that were later to become the 145th and 13th Combat Aviation Battalions. Both units still assigned here at Fort Rucker today. While in Vietnam, the Huey flew approximately 7,457,000 assault sorties, 3,952,000 attack or gunship sorties, and 3,548,000 cargo supply sorties. That comes to over 15 million sorties over the paddies and jungles of Vietnam. Not to include the millions of sorties flown all over the world in other combat zones since then. What an amazing journey. And I am so honored and humbled to have been a small part of that journey. To those in the crowd that have had the honor to fly, crew, or ride this magnificent machine in combat, we are the chosen few. We are the lucky ones. We understand what this aircraft means and how hard it is for me to describe my feelings about her as a Vietnam combat pilot. For she is alive. She has a life of her own and has been a lifelong friend. How do I capitalize in a few minutes a 42-year love affair? She is much a part of me and my fellow brothers as the blood that flows through our veins. Try to imagine all of those that have been touched by the shadow of her blades. Other aircraft can fly over, and some people will look up, and some may or may not even recognize what they see. But when a Huey flies over, everyone looks up, and everyone knows who she is. Young or old, all over the world, she connects with all. To those that rode her into combat, the sound of those blades causes our heartbeat to rise, our breaths to quicken, and anticipation of seeing that beautiful machine fly overhead and feel the comfort that she brings. No other aircraft in the history of aviation invokes the emotional response that Huey does. Whether combat veterans or not, she is recognized all around the world by young and old. She is the icon of the Vietnam War, Army Aviation, and the United States Army, over 5 decades of service. She carried Army Aviation on her back from bird dogs and piston-powered helicopters with a secondary support mission to a force multiplier combat arm that Army Aviation is today. She was what carried Army Aviation to here. Even young aviators today that are mainly Apache pilots, Black Hawk pilots, etc., that have had a chance to fly her will tell you there is no greater feeling, honor, or thrill to be blessed with the opportunity to ride her through the sky. They may love their Apaches and Black Hawks, but they will say there is no aircraft like flying the Huey. It is special. There are two kinds of helicopter pilots, those that have flown the Huey and those that wish they could. The intense feeling generated for this aircraft are not just from the flight crews, but also from those who rode in the back, into and out of the devil's cauldron. As paraphrased from God's Own Lunatics, Joe Galloway's tribute to the Huey and her flight crews, and many other infantry soldiers' comments. Is there anyone here today that does not thrill to the sound of those Huey blades? That familiar whop, whop, whop is the soundtrack of our war. It is the lullaby of our youth. It is burned into our brains and hearts. Those who spent their time in Nam as a grunt know that that noise was always a great comfort. Even today when I hear it, I stop, I catch my breath, I search the sky for a glimpse of the mighty eagle. To the pilots and crews of that wonderful machine, we loved you and we loved that machine. No matter how bad things were, if we called, you came. Down through the hail of green tracers and other visible signs of a real bad day off to a bad start. I can still hear the sound of those blades churning the fiery sky. To us, you seem so beyond brave and fearless. Down you would come to us in the middle of the battle in those flimsy skinned chariots into the storm of fire. We feared for you. We were awed by you. We thought you and that beautiful bird as God's own lunatics and wondered, who are these men and this machine? Where do they come from? They have to be God's angels. So with that, I say to her, that beautiful lady sitting out there, from me and to all my lucky brothers that were given the honor to serve their country and the privilege of flying this great lady in the skies of Vietnam, I say, thank you for the memories. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for always bringing us home, regardless of how beat up and shot up you were. Thank you. You will never be forgotten. We loved you then. We love you now. We will love you to our last breath. And as the sun sets today, if you listen quietly and closely, you will hear that faint whop, whop, whop of our mother speaking to all her children, past and present, who rode her into history in a blaze of glory. And she will be saying to us, I am here. I will always be here with you. I am at peace. And so should you be, and so should you be.